Dear investor, in this edition, we would cover receding of COVID and strong economic comeback, quarter four result season and key takeaways, and happily improvement in future estimates, global policy making noises, Indian market valuations with notings on index construct changes over a period of time, and in the end, portfolio positioning. On the first point, COVID is receding and the economy is coming back strongly. We have seen sharp decline in COVID cases, while the number of actives as we speak are still similar to the peak of the first wave. Yet the relief is palpable. Hopefully, situation would continue to improve sharply going forward. Sero surveys point to high incidence of antibodies in urban clusters. Vaccination pace has picked up, and we should now see over a crore vaccinations a day now that the availability has improved. Already, vaccinations cover 17+% of the population. It helps that many companies have gotten their staff and their families vaccinated, and that is helping keeping businesses open without fear of COVID. This does provide hope of recovery, while yes, mutants can play spoil sport going forward, and we need to be watchful on that. Lockdowns are getting over, and movement restrictions have reduced across the country. The indicators of normalcy, point to a sharper than expected improvement. It has helped that the lockdown in second wave had much smaller impact on the economy. For example, exports and railway freight was higher in the month of May, the most impacted month, versus the month of April. Manufacturing PMI did dip marginally, but was significantly higher than the impacted periods last year. We have been optimistic on the strong pent-up demand to manifest itself once again, even while this time around the stress has been more acute. This is on account of a very human desire to get back to normalcy as we have known it. So be it urban or rural, we believe this would be the case. It helps that rural incomes have once again been preserved to a big extent this time around as well. It also helps that that part of the population, the weaker part of the population, has continued to get support from the center. Coming down to the result season, quarter four result season has been good for most large companies, and estimates have improved for the future. Metal companies in particular and commodities in general delivered stellar numbers. After a long while, metals provided the largest profit pool amongst various sectors. Of the larger sectors, cap goods, financials, and telecoms disappointed a tad, while others delivered in line or better earnings. Financials, the disappointment on PAT was primarily on account of higher provisioning. Companies exceeding estimates are more than companies missing estimates, and that is good. Nifty earnings, just to look at a bit of history, were in the 400s for 7 years till financial 20, and are now expected to be over mid 800s in financial 23. So that is a very, very strong growth in earnings that India Inc. is looking at in the future. Given that the fourth quarter ending has been strong and quarter one of the new fiscal is less impacted on account of COVID versus last year, we estimate financial 22 and 23 numbers to have improved significantly. Also, it helps that monsoon has been on time and are predicted to be normal. Global policy making moves, that's the next part. Strong US recovery is allowing Fed to indicate earlier normalization. China has sought to cool off commodities. Indian policy making continues to be helpful to business. We had discussed about inflation being the biggest risk to the equity rally, as it would force policymakers to reduce liquidity and increase interest rates, even while the recovery could be an asset. The last period saw US Fed prepone its estimate for reducing accommodative monetary stance and now expects at least two rate increases by end of 23 and maybe one in financial 22, calendar 22 itself. Mainly on the strength of the US economy and yes, on inflation as well. Now, this did cause USD to appreciate and commodities to correct. However, happily, US 10-year bond yield stayed stable and actually reduced a bit over the next 2 days, causing markets to stabilize. Uh, we believe that Fed policy stance can change again, because it remains to be seen whether the strength in the US economy persists beyond the pent up. As yet, the reduction in liquidity and rate increase are still a significant time away, and the focus would come back on the economy and earnings, which would continue to be very strong in the interim. So, in effect, the volatility, the drop in the market as a consequence of Fed policy change could prove to be a good entry point for equity investors. In India, positive industry-friendly policy making continues. Even after the Assam elections, for example, the problem of MFI loans is sought to be addressed in a manner that the loan losses for lenders are minimized. It remains to be seen what RBI views are on normalization in their subsequent pronouncements. However, we do believe that since our economic normalization is trailing that of the US, the monetary policy normalization should also be expected to happen over a period of time. Coming down to the next subject on Indian market valuations, here we would also note that averages on the index do not take into account the change in index composition over a period of time. To start on a happy note, Indian market crossed $3 trillion of market cap and is now the 8th largest in the world. As the quarter four result season is coming to an end, we have seen a sharp increase in EPS expectations of financial 22 and 23, even as financial 21 has ended on a very strong note. Also, as discussed earlier, the earnings expectations for financial 22-23 have improved. This is making valuations look more benign than earlier. However, we do note that a significant part of the uptick in earnings is due to commodity and cyclical sectors, and those are spaces where the valuations on a P kind of matrix usually stay low. We also note that the composition of the index has changed over a period of time, and this is important. Because averages hide what is happening underneath. If we look at the changes in the index over a period of 2008 to 21, we find that high PE sectors like private banks, consumer staples, high growth NBFCs, retail companies, and life insurance have increased their presence over a period of time. Lower P spaces like oil and gas, metals, energy, and PSU banks have seen a reduction. Overall, we note a 29% increase in weight of high P sectors and a 33% reduction in weight of low P sectors, with some increase in the weight of sectors which have an average P. Now, this mixed change is definitely increasing the overall P-based valuation of the index itself, which to some extent is clearly sustainable. The other factor is that some heavyweight sectors like IT services have seen a material improvement in their outlook and are now trading higher than long period average. And once again, while they have this thing about pulling up overall index PE, but in a sustainable manner. At the same time, some sectors, those smaller like media and retail, have seen sharp profit decline, which could prove to be very temporary. And 1 year forward P's, make them look very high and expensive. So that also is distorting P based valuations. It is difficult to make exact adjustments for these. However, I think it would suffice to keep it at the back of the mind and believe that to some extent higher P's can be explained by the changes in the index composition itself over a period of time. Moreover, as we had shown in the last edition, the impact of a quarter of damage to cash flow for a surviving company does very little damage to its valuation, just about 0 to 2%, while the discount rate change of a percent that we have seen over last 1 year can increase the value significantly, by upwards of 17%. We do expect long period bond yields to be at current levels or lower, and lower over a period of time, while in the interim they may go up, and hence we do expect the discount rate benefit to sustain. My belief is that a 21% earnings uptake that we have seen in 21 and a 18 or thereabouts valuation improvement on account of reduced discount rate does leave some amount of upside in the market. There is another way to look at this. Over last 14 years, the average P of the index has been 18.2, and once again corrected for 18+% uptick in the valuation on account of lower interest rate. You arrive at a index valuation which do again point to sustainability. Hence, I believe buying on dips continues to be a great strategy for people who wish to come into the equity markets. Lastly, on portfolio positioning, we have broadly continued to maintain our portfolios and continue to believe that broad market would do better than the narrow market, as earnings momentum should sustain higher in the broad market versus narrow market, and government policies that we have been talking about over last several episodes and in this one continues to provide favorable tailwinds. Overall, as a consequence of these thoughts, our exposure to the mid-cap space has improved, while overall, portfolio sector positionings have not changed materially, except for the fact that our exposure to manufacturing has again gone up. Thank you. Happy investing.